Today, Joe Biden proved to Primetime that he's compromised. He's not really in charge. Biden's just been a front man for the national security state. After taking a 2-hour phone call with our biggest enemy, Chinese President Xi Jinping, Biden came out of it with nothing. According to readouts from the call, Biden never brought up the Wuhan lab leak, and he didn't confront China with flooding our country with fentanyl. The Chinese actually threatened Joe Biden on the call and said if we mess around with Taiwan, quote, those who play with fire perish by it. And Biden just took it. And the White House put out a statement like a good little boy and said the two presidents discussed a range of issues important to the bilateral relationship and other regional and global issues. The call was a disaster. But it's all a part of the bigger scandal involving all the major players in Washington. The people who run Washington, D.C. know Joe Biden's compromised. Washington knew it before they put him in the Oval Office. They've been running cover for the Biden family for years and have been selling Americans out for money and power. The entire Biden family, Joe, his brother Jim, son Hunter, they've all been caught in bed with China. Hunter's been caught with Chinese spies, and the intelligence community buried it. The FBI schemed to discredit and downplay Hunter's laptop. It worked. It got Joe elected. Dozens of CIA officials came in to say it was just Russian disinformation, even though they knew it was real, because the intelligence community has known what the Biden family has been up to this whole time. The CIA has known about Hunter and the Chinese. The CIA knows everything. The CIA knew everything Joe was doing in Ukraine. It was the CIA guy who was the whistleblower that flagged Trump for getting too close to Burisma. It's the CIA's job to know what countries are blackmailing our politicians or who's getting rich off the side. Did the spooks do anything about it? No. They colluded with big tech and the media to kill the Hunter Biden stories. Joe lies with ease because he knows everybody in Washington has his back.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China. I have not had the only guy made money from China is this guy. He's the only one. Nobody else has made money from China. That's
why he lies. He knows he's good. Joe flew his son to China, where he cut deals. The Biden families have made millions in China. It's been reported everywhere. And Joe meets with Hunter's business partners all the time. Joe Biden's met at least 14 of Hunter's business partners that we could find. Here's an email from Hunter admitting it. Quote, I've brought every single person you've ever asked me to bring to the effing White House and the vice president's house and the inauguration, and then you go completely silent. We have Joe Biden on tape knowing what his son is up to with the Chinese.
Hey, pals, Dad, it's 8:15 on Wednesday night. If you get a chance, give me a call. Nothing urgent. Just want to talk to you. I thought the article, at least the thing online, that's going to be printed tomorrow in the Times, was good. I think it's clear.
We have emails saying Joe is getting a 10% kickback from Hunter's China deals. Hold 10% for the big guy. Hunter's business partners wanted to keep it all on the down low. Remember, one of them said, quote, don't mention Joe being involved. It's only when you're face to face. I know you know that, but they're paranoid. So they called him the big guy. If there was any doubt as to who the big guy was, all they had to do was ask Hunter Biden's partner, Tony Bobulinski.
It has 10% for the big guy held by H. I 1,000% sit here and know that the big guy is referencing Joe Biden. That's crystal clear to me because I lived it. I met with the former vice president in person multiple times, and I had been meeting and talking with Hunter Biden and Jim Biden.
And when the New York Post broke the story in the fall of 2020, the Biden people panicked. The New York Post just published new text messages of Hunter's business partners worried at the time that the big guy was going to get exposed, afraid Joe was going to toss them under the bus before the election, saying then Hunter and Joe's campaign would try to make it seem like, oh, we were never involved, and maybe try to basically make us collateral damage. If they lose from this, honestly, I don't think that the big guy really cares about that because he'll be too busy focusing on all the other blank he's doing. Notice how they also called him the big guy. But everything just got covered up. No one got exposed. So Biden's in the White House, and all he has to do now is just have the Justice Department clean up his son's charges. Do you think the prosecutor in Delaware is really going to put the president's son in prison? Do you think this one little prosecutor in Delaware is going to investigate the president of the United States getting kickbacks from the communists? Have you been paying any attention? The U.S. attorney in Delaware hasn't even interviewed Tony Bobulinski. They're going to make the Hunter thing go away. And then they're going to investigate Trump again. Here's one of the top FBI guys at a House hearing today. Cat's got his tongue.
Patrick Ho was convicted of bribing government officials in Africa, and he gave $1 million to Hunter Biden. Are you familiar with that?
I'm not going to speak about any ongoing investigation.
Is that an ongoing?
I can assure you that
an ongoing investigation?
I'm not going to speak about any potential ongoing investigation.
Don't you see that Hunter Biden's business partner called Joe Biden the big guy in panicked messages? Do you guys call Joe Biden the big guy at the Department of Justice?
So I think it's important to understand why we don't speak about cases outside of the courtroom.
By the way, I already know why.
If I may answer the question.
You know why you don't speak about it? Because it's about Hunter Biden.
The FBI, the Justice Department, the CIA, the Defense Department, and some of America's most powerful interests are there to protect Joe, because Joe is just as corrupt as they are. And with the president they control, they can all make money. In China or Ukraine, which is looking a lot like a money laundering operation that would never have happened if Trump were president. Lee Smith wrote extensively on the Biden cover-up in Tablet Mag, and we recommend you read it. It's called The National Tragedy of Hunter Biden's Laptop, and he puts it this way, quote, Biden's a front man for America's national security state and its foreign wars. When the commander-in-chief, with a congressional majority, says there's nothing he can do to protect the electorate from foreign actors who, in his own telling, are responsible for the price hikes crushing American households, he's confessing that he's not really in charge. It's all an attempt to transfer U.S. taxpayer money to the oligarchs. It's true. Biden does what he's told. He's told to be soft on China. He knows it. He's getting paid. He rat-holed the lab leak, lets fentanyl pour in, drop tariffs on solar panels, warns Nancy don't go to Taiwan, and he sells oil to a Chinese company linked to Hunter. He's told to use Ukraine as a proxy war to drain Russia, pay defense contractors, and launder money. He's been told to keep the border open so his donors have cheap labor. And he's been told to limit American oil and gas so his investors and donors go green. And he knows that no one is going to touch a hair on his head because he's doing everything they're telling him to do. And that's why he lies with such ease about not knowing anything. Our country is being stolen from us, and they're doing it in broad daylight.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.